Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Under no circumstances should we ever be restrained from speaking out against unjust laws.
I'm tired of paying people to tell us what we can and cannot do.
We're just here, trying to reach out to people that have that want to be free and might not know what the answer actually is.
When my freedoms, your freedoms, Chris Scott's freedoms, every single person in this country's freedoms are jeopardized by a piece of paper in a court, we've got some problems.
My great uncles who fought in World War II, one in the Navy, one in the Air Force, their sacrifices were immense. And if we can't have enough courage to stand up to the government and their court orders, we're going to lose what they gave their lives for, and that's unacceptable.
Our freedoms are important and they're worth fighting for, because if we don't have a freedom, then what do we have?
I'm willing to go to jail or pay. I'm not going to pay my fines or anything, but I'm willing. I'm here. I don't care.
Fuck it. I don't care. I'll risk it for the biscuit. I'm hungry.
We got lots of rights, so we're here to exercise them.
Jason Kenney went on a long diatribe about how what you did and who you are, you just don't represent the rodeo community. What do you think about a guy from Edmonton, career politician, telling a guy like you that you don't represent the rodeo community?
Well, he don't know shit from yellow clay to start with, let alone talking about rodeo.
Sheila Gunn Reid for Rebel News, and I'm reporting at the Whistle Stop Cafe in the tiny central Alberta town of Mirror. Now, the Whistle Stop Cafe is the restaurant that was seized by the provincial government last week because the Provincial Health Authority, Alberta Health Services, issued a closure notice, and then the RCMP acted on it at 6:30 in the morning on Wednesday. The Whistle Stop Cafe has been the site of the restaurant rebellion in Alberta against the lockdown restrictions after the owner here, Chris Scott, opened his dining room in defiance of the lockdown restrictions on dine-in service. Today, there is a major protest happening against the lockdown restrictions across the province. Even though it's pouring rain, people are filing in. I don't even know where they're parking. There's approximately 1,000 people here. And this is important because every person here is risking not only a lockdown fine for gathering in a group of more than 5 people outside, but they also risk being in breach of a judge's court order because the Alberta government sought and won a secret restraining order Thursday afternoon against the owner of the Whistle Stop, Chris Scott, but also Glenn Carrott of United We Roll, who happens to be a local politician up the road in Innisfail, and unnamed Jane and John Doe. So that's all of us, the rest of us, to prevent us from illegal gatherings. That means the government of Alberta has a restraining order against every citizen in this province to prevent us from exercising our charter rights to protest bad decisions of the government and to assemble in groups to do it. It is absolutely torrential rain here today, and I drove down from east of Edmonton, and it seems as though every RCMP officer in central Alberta is in the area, staged all over the place. There was a heavy police presence in Bashaw, the community up the road, when I drove through it. That's where the main RCMP detachment for the region is. Now, Rebel News, we're helping Glenn and Chris fight that restraining order with the help of a top criminal litigator named Chad Williamson. You can donate to offset their legal fees at fightthefines.com. The event started at 1. I've been here since 10 a.m. It's about 4 in the afternoon. Anyway, this is what the people had to say when I asked them why they were willing to risk jail time to protest the government.
If we don't stand up for our freedom, our kids won't have any, our grandkids won't have any, and their kids won't have any. If you're not willing to draw a line in the sand and say enough is enough, I mean, we're so close to a communist, it's a socialist state already. And their actions speak louder than words. It's just what it is. There's nothing that they have said that is true.
It's all about the support. You got to come out, you got to support the people. If you don't support, you don't stick together, we're going to lose. And that's the way it is. You got to remember, we are Canadians. We work in this stuff, we play in this stuff, and I'll tell you, we're damn well going to come out here and support in this stuff. period.
Our kids' freedom. You know, this isn't just about us anymore. This is about our kids and their freedoms.
Yeah, and now they're trying to fully silence us any way they can. Yeah. We're not supposed to attend any events as Mom's Diner, no longer allowed to cater to the public. Otherwise, they're going to use that angle to shut us down. They've already got us with a 72-hour temporary business license suspension through the city of Red Deer. We just found that taped to our door this morning when we went there. So, so, you know, we got to come out. Doesn't matter what they're going to do, you know, we have to be here. Otherwise, we might as well just roll over and die.
This is a fight for freedom, Sheila, and you and the Rebel and others have been fighting this a long time, and we can't be intimidated by this. This government heavy-handedness is unacceptable, and you know, when I think of my great uncles who fought in World War II, one in the Navy, one in the Air Force, their sacrifices were immense, and if we can't have enough courage to stand up to the government and their court orders, we're going to lose what they gave their lives for, and that's unacceptable. We've got to fight for this. We've got to wake up and realize how evil this is, and we got to protect our freedoms.
We have a duty to all Canadians to fight for our rights. I think now is the best time to relearn our charter, our Canadian charter, our Bill of Rights, get educated and know what you can and can do lawfully. And so, you know, upon reading those rights, we are here legally, just exercising our rights and supporting freedom at the same time, enjoying good company with like-minded people, our collective mindset, Alberta Strong, and we're here to push that, make sure that everybody is aware that, you know, you can leave your house, you can see other people, your kids deserve a right to breathe oxygen and all of that good stuff.
What's happening in this country is none other than communism, and if we can't stand up and resist it, it's coming and it never ends. Power in numbers, we need to be standing up for our basic fundamental rights. I'm here for my kids, I brought them. What's happening in this country is an atrocity. The numbers don't support it. The government's actions are totally tyrannical. And I don't know how they sleep at night doing and acting in this manner, you know? And as for the cops coming, this is all fear-mongering. How are they going to come and ticket everyone and do everything when we're in large numbers? They can't. Yeah. It's impossible, right? And if we keep doing this, we will hopefully maintain our freedom. I hope there's more people out at rallies in other places in the province, other areas.
It's not just tickets anymore, though. It's contempt of court now, and it's possible jail time.
Again, fear-mongering. Fear. That's all they want you to live in is fear. And when they have you in fear, they can make you do anything. Logistically, that just doesn't work. It's all fear. And I don't know too many judges and cops who want to stand out in front and put someone in jail for peacefully assembling.
Ty Northcott, you held apparently an illegal rodeo last weekend. You're here at the illegal public gathering, or the government would have us believe. You could get rounded up and sent to jail because the government has a restraining order against you and me and Chris and Glenn. What makes it worth it for you?
Well, last I heard, we were living in a free country and you're innocent until proven guilty. So I ain't guilty of nothing.
Do you have a message for the government who went and got a secret restraining order against its own citizens?
Yeah, I've been giving lots of messages out to the government lately, and I think I've pissed them off far too many times. So we'll hold on for a little bit till my next post on FaceCrack.
Jason Kenney went on a long diatribe about how what you did and who you are, you just don't represent the rodeo community. What do you think about a guy from Edmonton, career politician, telling a guy like you that you don't represent the rodeo community?
Well, he don't know shit from yellow clay to start with, let alone talking about rodeo.
Why are you willing to risk potential contempt of court to wait in a lineup in the rain for barbecue?
Because I think our freedoms are important and they're worth fighting for. Because if we don't have our freedom, then what do we have?
For freedom?
I said to him, Ralph,
pretty much, yeah.
If you were the sovereign,
we got lots of rights, so we're here to exercise them.
We're in this all together. That's what we're here for. So we're Alberta. We stand together.
We need to be free. This is Canada, not Russia, China, North Korea, Venezuela. And I'm here for some good beef.
You can't say no to free chicken sandwiches. And I mean, you know, it's good people, it's a good turnout, and I thought, why not? I was driving by, we just pulled in for fun, I guess. Why not? I don't care, I'll risk it for the biscuit. I'm hungry.
I'm here more for the freedom, but the brisket is the bonus.
Just want to be free. Just want to be free. I'm tired of paying people to tell us what we can and cannot do.
Yeah, because we stand for freedom, and people need to realize this is not about a virus. It never has been, and people need to figure out what's going on before we've lost it all.
I got grandkids, and I'm worried about their future.
Yeah.
That's the biggest reason. And I don't care if I get fined. I don't care if they throw me in jail. I'm here because of them. And I know we're losing. It's slipping away fast if we don't do something.
We're just here, you know, trying to reach out to people that have that want to be free and might not know what the answer actually is. Right? There's a lot of people that are looking for hope right now, and as the Alberta government takes our hope away piece by piece, I need them to know that their hope that there's hope for them in Jesus Christ. That's why I'm here.
Why did you guys come to the Whistle Stop?
We come to the Whistle Stop for freedom.
Now, you are risking a trip to the Crowbar Hotel. You know that, right? Because there's a restraining order stopping this event from going forward, and from people like you attending.
That's okay. I don't mind. I'm willing to go to jail or pay. I'm not going to pay my fines or anything, but I'm willing. I'm here. I don't care. Yeah.
If you get a fine, what are you supposed to do with it?
I am going to call a lawyer, and they are going to get rid of it for me.
Or you can send it to Fight the... Thank you.
FightTheFines.com with Rebel News, and also donate to the email. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Benita Peterson, repeat offender with FightTheFines.com. You're risking potentially jail time to be here to help put on this event.
We have to fight for our freedom. The government has committed mass overreach, and it is worth the risk that I take. I'm fighting for the freedoms of children. I'm fighting for the freedoms of unborn children. This fight's meaningful right now. When people are stepping forward and they're risking everything, including their own personal freedoms, the world needs to pay attention. It's worth the risk. I have 10 tickets, and I'm thankful to Rebel News for helping me. They've connected me with a great lawyer, and my lawyer is handling the matter.
Great, that's wonderful. And if anybody at home wants to help Benita, the freedom fighter, they can donate today at FightTheFines.com. Thanks for everything. Thank you for fighting for freedom, Benita.
The fight goes on, and we urge more people to join us.
Rick Strankman.
Oh my.
Yes, are you willing to go back to jail? Because just by being here, you're in breach of a court order, a restraining order that Jason Kenney has against all the citizens of his province.
It's a disturbing time for Alberta, Sheila, and that's why I'm here, just to see who the people are and understand their frustrations. I have those same frustrations, and the infringements on our property rights is beyond the pale. Albertans, like I said earlier, Albertans have been respectful of the health issues that are perceived by many, and they're trying to hold their ground, and Albertans are holding their position. But the infringement on their property rights is beyond the pale, and I don't know where this is going to end. I don't want to be seen as any sort of instigator, and as many of the media people, even JK's comms guys, have heard me say, I have no malice to anyone, but the performance is quite disgusting. And Albertans are not going to stand for this, as I see going forward. So it's a disappointing time for the province.
Any advice for people like me in case I end up in the slammer? I mean, you've been there.
Well, no, there's no good advice, although they know what's going on in there. A lot of those guys, they know what, and I remember our emotions when we were in the LCC and not Lethbridge Community College. It was emotional. So no, I think there is justice, but as my wife says, it rides a slow mule. And Albertans will get their chance to have their opinions heard, even if it only is at a polling station.
I think it's shocking for people who thought of Jason Kenney as a defender of freedom around the world to see that he's outlawing protests here in Alberta.
Well, what's shocking is how he responds to this and the way he demonizes people for doing this. And again, you have to ask the question why. And I think it's because of the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset. They want us to own nothing and be happy. They want us to have no control over our lives, our schools, our healthcare, our education. I mean, this is an absolute attack on freedom and the free world and on free market, the free enterprise. And we've got to wake up soon enough, and I believe the Alberta Spirit will do that.
We're here at Whistle Stop Cafe here in sunny downtown Mirror, Alberta. I'd like to thank everybody that's here. We are all here to send you a message, Mr. Kenney. The message is very clear that your base has left you and bolted and are going to go to the separatist camp immediately. The sooner that you step down and resign and get out of Alberta, you're not an Albertan, you're from Saskatchewan, you've been 20 years in Ottawa, now beat it.
Well, so far the police have simply just walked around the protest site and they've been trying to serve people with the restraining order the government received against them, but nobody seems all that interested in taking that court order from the cops. I haven't seen any arrests yet from the approximately 1,000 people in attendance, but it's my suspicion that the government isn't all that interested in arresting the people in attendance here today, but rather they are interested in cracking down on the people named in the restraining order, Glenn Carrott and Chris Scott, who risked jail time to fight for freedom today. Chris Scott, the government has a restraining order against you, preventing you from holding the event that we see here before us, but you went ahead anyway. Why?
Because under no circumstances should we ever be restrained from speaking out against unjust laws.
And the potential is real for you to go to jail today, or maybe I would suspect probably Monday, because I don't think the police want to move in and bust up this event with everybody here.
Well, that is a possibility, and we've known that for some time. I made my peace with that. So what we tried to do here today is we've been trying to follow the COVID restrictions and rules as best we can, but there's a lot of people and it's difficult. There's RCMP members all over the place, and they're seeing what's going on. So yeah, if they choose to enforce that, I suppose they could throw me in jail.
And you've made peace with that. You're ready to go, I guess.
Yeah, I need a break.
Chris, again, what's the best way for people to support you? Because you're in a steering contest with the government. I don't think you're going to blink. How do people who couldn't be here today, how can they help you?
Well, there's a few ways. The first one is your support, your voice. I think everybody needs to start writing letters, keep making phone calls. You need to talk to your MLAs, talk to your MP, your councillors, your Reeves, everybody you can get a hold of. Make your voices heard, be loud. And AHS too, phone them. Tell them what you think of all this stuff. Dr. Hinshaw, anybody whose ear you can get, use your voice. The second thing is, I have a feeling we're going to be incurring some very hefty legal expenses. So Rebel Media has taken care of my lawyer and my law team for me. So if people go to fightthefines.com, and if you can make a donation there to help cover the legal costs, that's great. And our other hurdle that we're working on here is trying to get this title in our name. We don't have a lot of time. We have a bit, but not a lot. And that's being done at donations at whistlestoptruckstop.ca. What we're going to do is we're going to get this title in our name and remove the mechanism AHS is trying to use, which is harassing the person that we're purchasing the place from.
You know, they've done that with a lot of businesses that they can't bring under their thumb. They start harassing the landlords to terminate the lease with them, and it sounds like they've been doing that to you.
Yeah, which is ridiculous because they're telling these landlords that they're gonna charge them criminally if they don't evict their tenants or force them to comply. But any lease or rental agreement I've seen indemnifies the property owner from the actions of the tenants. So I don't get it. It's just another bullying tactic.
Well, Chris, we're behind you 100%. We're going to help you in every way that we can, and I'm just so proud of the stand that you're taking for small businesses. And I guess it's not even about small businesses anymore. It's about freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. it stopped becoming about running a cafe months ago, and the bigger picture is that we've allowed this to happen in our country where our rights and freedoms can be infringed for whatever reason the government sees fit. And even more scary than that is the fact that there's a lot of people sitting at home that are just saying, well, why don't you just comply? Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, and there's hate out there. And I don't understand how people can see our freedoms being eroded and it's lawful and not be speaking out about it. We're always told we live in a free country. We don't, and people need to wake up to that.
Yeah, we can't even speak out about it anymore. The government has taken away our ability to assemble and speak out about this.
Yeah, we can't go to church, we can't earn a living, we can't assemble, we can't protest. Our mobility rights are being threatened. I don't know what else has to happen to people before they realize that we need to stop this.
Glenn, you are named in the restraining order.
I am. So is everybody else.
So is everybody else, but you and Chris by name, you could face potential jail time for participating in an illegal public gathering, and yet you're here. Why is it worth it to you?
Because it's for our Canadian freedom. I'll stand up for my Canadian freedoms anytime. Our Constitution says that I can be here, and nobody, no court, will tell me where I can go in my own country. And I'll continue to stand here. And listen, I don't know if anybody watches Braveheart, but the guy says, hey, you're not 7 feet tall and you're not blowing lightning bolts out your arse. Well, listen, I'm not 7 feet tall and I'm not blowing any lightning bolts, but I'm here and I want everybody to come and stand behind us and be together with us because it's worth it.
Now, yesterday we had Chad Williamson, your Fight the Fines lawyer, and Chris's Fight the Fines lawyer. He was blindsided by that court order, even though these guys, the government, they know you have lawyers. He worked ferociously to try to get a judge to hear his appeal of that restraining order. The judge wouldn't have any of it. They've put it over for, I think, another week or May 13th. Thank you very much, Glenn. What do you think about the government seeking a restraining order against the citizens of the province?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And when we can't even be invited to the game to stand up for ourselves for an injunction like that, it's absolutely ridiculous. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because, again, our Constitution says that we can be here. We have a freedom. We still have a free country. So they can make it June 27th or whatever. I don't care. But I'll continue to fight for our Canadian freedoms, and I'll continue to be here. And I hope we can get this restaurant open sooner than later, and let's get back to a normal life.
I think it's also shocking that the government has all these limitless resources. They have an entire Justice Department full of lawyers that they can go around and get these secret injunctions against citizens and, like you say, not even invite us to the table to fight back.
Yeah, not even invite us. And they've got, I don't know how many cops here up and down the highways. There's never been an incident at any one of our peaceful rallies. We're here in peace. So it's a complete waste of resources. The AHS is wasting their resources on these events. It needs to stop. We need to get our money put back into, if there is a problem with the virus or long-term care or wherever there is a problem, let's take care of the problem and stop spending money frivolously on these resources.
Do you have a message for the Premier?
I have a message for Jason Kenney. Yes, you need to start listening to the people. Get out here. Why aren't you here? If I was Premier of this province, I would be here right now saying, we need to talk to the people. Even if you don't agree with them, at least come out and say, you know what, I don't agree with you. We need to move forward. At least have the tenacity to come out and talk to the people when they're standing up left, right, and center on what's going on in this province, in our country.
2 years ago, Jason Kenney would roll up in his blue truck and campaign here. Now he's renounced everybody here.
Yeah, I actually spoke on the same stage as Jason Kenney up in Valley View in his campaign, and he did ride up in his pickup truck. We had some great speakers there. One that comes to mind was a grandfather and his granddaughter. Jason Kenney rode up, said his little speech, and then drove off, and didn't talk to anybody on the stage. And I was quite appalled at the arrogance. I did vote for him, and because I expected him to stand up for Alberta against Ottawa. I thought he would be the strongest voice for us, speaking French and having the experience in Ottawa. Sadly mistaken, because I don't think he's done anything for Alberta. We haven't got a firewall put up. We haven't looked at independent police. We haven't looked at any independence for Alberta so that we can move forward, or at least have that playing card for Ottawa, so that we have some strength in our oil and gas industry, which is our biggest industry in this country, that's been stifled. We keep forgetting about our oil and gas industry, and it's all of this has been stifled. Small business, oil and gas, barbershops, restaurants, What about all these people? What about the suicide rates? What about the mental health for kids? Schools being shut down. Now we're going to have parents at home trying to figure out how they're going to be out of work when their kids are out of school. This is child abuse. It's nothing short of abuse for our kids.
Well, Glenn, you have a long history of fighting for families just like mine, families in the oil patch. So I'm very proud that we're able to help you through fightthefines.com, because you have a ticket for having the Easter Bunny at an event, and now you have a restraining order against you on behalf of AHS. I mean, this is just crazy.
It is crazy. You know, when my freedoms, your freedoms, Chris Scott's freedoms, every single person in this country's freedoms are jeopardized by a piece of paper in a court, we've got some problems. It doesn't matter where you stand on the restrictions, on the virus, be it as it may, but if you don't see a problem with this, then please start researching and realize that our freedoms are being slowly taken away.
If you'd like to help offset the legal fees to help Glenn and Chris fight their lockdown tickets in court, because they have those too, and to help them fight that restraining order that the government placed on them specifically and everybody else here today, please donate today at fightthefines.com. As I heard several times today, freedom is worth fighting for.
Chris, I got it.
You're a legend, Chris.
Now, after the protest wrapped up, Chris was arrested and taken into custody by the Bashaw RCMP for breaching that court order. So as I'm filming this Monday morning, Chris has been held in remand in Red Deer since Saturday night. His lawyer, Chad Williamson from Williamson Law, has been working very hard to get him out. But as I'm filming this, I have no word yet on whether Chris has received bail or what those bail conditions will be. But as soon as we know, we'll update you. The same court order that Chris was arrested for breaching applies to all of us in Alberta. It's a restraining order against our right to organize, participate, or promote an illegal public gathering, which is the Orwellian term the Alberta government now calls freedom of expression and assembly. Today, as we do every day, we're going to hear statistics about the number of coronavirus case counts from over the weekend. So far, the daily coronavirus incarceration case count sits at 2. If you'd like to help us help Chris Scott and Pastor Art Poloski in Calgary, 2 men arrested under Jason Kenney's new anti-free speech lockdown law, please donate today at fightthefines.com, and none of that money goes to Art or Chris or Rebel News. It goes directly to the Democracy Fund, which is a registered Canadian charity that pays for the lawyers to fight these lockdown tickets. And donations now qualify for a charitable tax receipt. It's a dark day in Alberta for freedom of expression. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. Chris Scott of the Whistle Stop Cafe was arrested this weekend and held in custody for breaching the restraining order the Alberta government won against the free speech rights of all Albertans. To help us help Chris, please go to fightthefines.com and donate to cover his legal expenses today. None of that money goes to Chris or Rebel News. It goes directly to a registered Canadian charity called the Democracy Fund that works to advance civil liberties for all Canadians. Again, that website is fightthefines.com.